I am in a calmer, safer emotional place than I think ever have been. And so now it's definitely coming back up, right? And the more that I haven't talked about it in a while. You guys know I talk about it in bits and pieces for obvious reasons. But I've been getting more and more into my work lately. The archival process of it. And because beforehand I had already gathered all the information and then it was just about cataloging. I'm finding new information. I'm finding lists of dead bodies that were found. I'm finding the names of first responders who volunteered to go retrieve those people. Like I'm getting to it on a very human level now. Before it was, yes, this is a 1,000-page Homeland Security document that I'm going through and annotating and bitching about because I'm fucking crazy because you guys killed my loved ones. But now I'm going through and looking at that list and being like, it's like the lists of those people that were killed in Gaza. And at a certain point, it's just a very dense amount of names on a page. And just because there were about 2,000 people confirmed dead in Katrina, that is not even a drop in the bucket. I've said this before. That's not touching on human trafficking, which I don't want to talk about. I don't. There are a lot of other accounts that talk about the abuse that women and children faced, that people who were trafficked faced. I can't. Some people have asked. I think I've said this before. I was 9. I was in 4th grade. No, 3rd grade. Who cares? Who cares? Honestly. I went back to school and they were ripping up the carpets in my elementary school because they were soaked with water. And it wasn't just water, it was water with the runoff from dead bodies and E. coli. I was smelling that in the carpets they were ripping up. We still didn't have electricity. It was September in Louisiana. Storm hit very end of August. We usually go back to school mid-August in South Louisiana. Went back to school about a month late. There were a lot of people at my school. I was like, cool, new kids. Where are you from? New Orleans? Cool, you moved. We were just north of the lake. So it wasn't as bad flooding damage. There was more like wind damage and the like, as opposed to like flooding more southern to us. And then like water damage by my grandparents' house that was along the river, the Amet River, which connects to Lake Pontchartrain. It's all connected in that basin right there. That was like, I used to find such joy in being out by the water and stuff. I still do to a degree. But I have panic attacks when it storms. It's supposed to be a thunderstorm today. And if it rains too hard, I freak out. I need a thunder shirt, you know? But I still think I'm handling it okay for now. A lot of people have asked me if I've been in EDMR therapy. I did talk therapy for a little while. It was not helpful. For the last handful of years, I've really struggled with health insurance. So I've barely been able to properly get my medication. I haven't been able to really, I had a therapist I liked, and then I had to move out of state. Happens. But I am essentially the luckiest you're going to get with Katrina. Severe PTSD, but I'm alive. But my immediate family's alive. Yeah, my grandparents lost their house, the one that I was raised in, but they're alive. Like, how lucky am I to be almost 30 years old with 2 living grandparents? The ones that raised me, you know what I mean? Like, they grew up right beside me, they raised me. And they lost everything they ever had, more than once. And they shouldn't have. There should be protocols in place. I don't... Because at a certain point, I could give less of a fuck about myself. I don't care about myself. I'm okay where I am. I'm very fortunate. But the people who sacrificed everything to raise me, when they had water runoff from dead bodies in their drinking water well for years, they had to fix it out of pocket multiple times. It kept coming back. I remember being so upset and being like, Mommy, why can't we rebuild the house? Like, I didn't, you're a kid. You're like, what? Go build house, My papa was he cut down trees for a living. I said, well, they can build house. Like, it's how I learned what E. coli was. It's not safe to drink the water at Mama's house. I was like, what do you mean? We can't drink the water at Mama's house. You don't forget that smell. Someone commented on my other post, the smell of rotting food in the fridge is a huge trigger for them. Oh my God, yeah. I remember one thing that really upset my mom while all the lights were out. Obviously, she had no control over anything else happening. I remember her being so upset that everything in the fridge melted. So upset. And to my autistic brain that's trying to logically, I'm like, Mommy, we can go to the store. And then I told you guys, we went to the store. Martial law is occurring. My mom's hand is on the back of my neck in the store. That was like, we need bread and milk. Don't leave my side. My mom scared me. Obviously, she's doing it because she's like, this is my don't touch my child. But my brain's working a million miles a minute, and I still am trying to process that. My younger brother was too young. My younger brother was he hadn't turned 5 yet. Or was about to turn, you know what I mean? Like, baby, kindergarten. So he doesn't remember as much. I'm thankful for that. I wouldn't want that. I don't think my own mom saw as much of the coverage as I saw as a child. I couldn't put it down. And then we went back to school and just everything was normal again. And we just had to be like, okay, no one's coming to help us. Help your friends' families rebuild their houses. We have nothing. No one's coming. I talked to a friend from New York the other day because they were talking about, they were like, one would think since it's, the time between 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina is less time, it's 4 years, than the beginning of the COVID pandemic to now. It's 5 years. It was 4 years. You'd think they'd have those kinds of emergency protocols post 9/11 in large cities, like New Orleans, large port cities. Why have you never seen a commercial, if you or a loved one was a victim of Hurricane Katrina? They don't want to help. They didn't want to help us then. They don't want to help us now. If the only reason you care about Hurricane Katrina is because this loudmouth bitch on the internet won't shut up about it, I've done my job. You will never forget us. No one will ever forget us. I will live to be 1,000 years old. I will turn into Moses. I will live forever. And nobody will ever forget us.